What's a short, clean joke that gets a laugh every time?
A Mexican magician says he will disappear on the count of 3. He says uno, dos, poof. He disappeared without a trace.
I have a Polish friend who's a sound technician. Oh, and a check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
And God said to John, "Come forth and you shall be granted eternal life." But John came fifth and won a toaster.
How does a rabbi make his coffee? He brews it.
What's red and bad for your teeth? A brick. Q. What do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator.
I bought the world's worst thesaurus yesterday. Not only is it terrible, it's terrible.
How do you find Will Smith in the snow? You look for fresh prints.
What's the difference between a dirty old bus stop and a lobster with breast implants? One is a crusty bus station, the other one is a busty crustacean. Stephen Wright has some great short jokes. I once bought some used paint. It was in the shape of a house. I plan on living forever. So far, so good. When I was a child we had a sandbox. It was a quicksand box. I was an only child. Eventually.
My friend asked me to help him round up his 37 sheep. I said 40.
A blind man walks into a bar. And a table. And a chair. I went bobsleighing the other day, killed 250 bobs.
Have you heard about those new corduroy pillows? They're making headlines.
What's the best part of going to Switzerland? Wait for response. I'm not sure, but the flag is a big plus.
A dog walks into a bar from the construction site across the street and says, "Gimme a beer." The bartender says, "Wow. A talking dog. You should get a job at the circus." The dog says, "They need bricklayers there."
My friends say there's a gay guy in our circle of friends. I really hope it's Todd, he's cute.
Why did the old man fall in the well? Because he couldn't see that well.
So what if I don't know what Armageddon means? It's not the end of the world.
The police arrested 2 suspicious men in a car park today. One was drinking battery acid and the other was eating fireworks. They charged one and let the other one off.
What did the pirate say when he turned 80 years old? "I'm 80.
A dyslexic man walks into a bar.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? Safety. Safety always comes first.
Have you heard of Murphy's Law? Yes, anything can go wrong will go wrong. What's about Cole's Law? No. It's a thin sliced cabbage dripped in mayonnaise and sour cream.
What did the bra say to the hat? "You go on ahead, I'll give these 2 a lift."
What's orange and sounds like a parrot? A carrot. 2 cows are grazing in a field. One cow says to the other, "You ever worry about that mad cow disease?" The other cow says, "Why would I care? I'm a helicopter."
Dr. Frankenstein entered a bodybuilding contest. Upon arrival he realized he misunderstood the objective.
2 men are out hunting, and one accidentally shoots the other. In a panic, he calls 911. "I just accidentally shot my friend. I think he's dead. What do I do?" The operator replies, "Okay, just remain calm. First go to your friend and make sure he's dead." After a moment of silence, a loud shot rings out. The man says, "Okay, I'm sure he's dead. Now what?"
A man walks into a library and orders fish and chips. The librarian says, "This is a library." The man says, "Oh, sorry." Then in a whisper, "I'd like some fish and chips."
What's the difference between a BMW and a porcupine? A porcupine has pricks on the outside.
Knock knock, who's there? Amish Amish who? You're not a shoe.
2 clowns are eating a cannibal. One turns to the other and says, I think we got this joke wrong.
How many opticians does it take to change a light bulb? Is it 1 or 2? 1 or 2?
What do you do if you see a spaceman? Park in it, man.
I poured root beer in a square glass. Now I just have beer.
My wife told me I had to stop acting like a flamingo. So I had to put my foot down.
Guy walks into a bar and orders a fruit punch. Bartender says, pal, if you want a punch you'll have to stand in line. Guy looks around, but there is no punch line.
What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea.
A woman walks into a library and asked if they had any books about paranoia. Librarian, they're right behind you. Quote.
Before you criticize someone, walk a mile in their shoes. That way, when you do criticize them, you're a mile away and have their shoes.
Why did the banker quit his job? He lost interest.
I used to be addicted to soap, but now I'm clean.
What do the movies Titanic and The Sixth Sense have in common? I see dead people.
I bought my friend an elephant for his room. He said, thanks. I said, don't mention it. Do you use your right hand to stir your coffee? Ha. I use a spoon.
How do you talk to dead Italians? With a Luigi board.
What's the difference between a hippo and a Zippo? One is really heavy, and the other is a little lighter. Two men meet on opposite sides of a river. One shouts to the other, I need you to help me get to the other side. The other guy replies, you are on the other side.
My girlfriend asked if I would stop listening to Oasis. I said maybe.
Communism jokes aren't funny unless everyone gets them.
This is my step ladder. I never knew my real ladder. Edit till this joke was by Harry Hill, and recently made more famous by Jay London, opening for Louis C.K. Tell me a joke about potassium.
The Secret Service just had to change protocol for when the president is in danger. Instead of yelling, get down, they have to yell, Donald Duck.
How did the hipster burn his mouth? He ate the pizza before it was cool.
I've been told I'm condescending. That means I talk down to people.
It's hard to explain puns to kleptomaniacs because they always take things literally.
Why do blind people hate skydiving? It scares the hell out of their dogs.
Knock knock. Who's there? Dishes. Dishes who? Dishes Sean Connery.
Why don't ants get sick? Because they have little antibodies.
What do we want? Low-flying airplane noises. When do we want them? NNNEEEEEOOOOOOWWWWW.
How do you tell the gender of an ant? Put it in a glass of water. If it sinks, it's a girl ant. If it floats, it's buoyant.
Two drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff.
A grasshopper walks into a bar. Bartender says, hey, we have a drink named after you. Grasshopper says, why would you name a drink Kevin?
Wanna know the last thing my grandpa said before he kicked the bucket? Wonder how far I can kick this bucket.
What do you call a black man flying a plane? A pilot, you racist. I made a black guy laugh with this, so it must be okay. A chicken meets James Bond on a train. What's your name? Chicken. Bond, James Bond. Yours? Ken, Chic Ken. Original joke is in Spanish, but it gets me every time.
I think a Redditor's daughter came up with this, but I always find it amusing. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the ugly guy's house. Knock knock, who's there? The chicken. What do you call a psychic little person who has escaped from prison? A small medium at large.
Why is Peter Pan always flying? He never lands. This joke never gets old.
Time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana.
My father convinced me to donate my organs after I die. He's a man after my own heart.
Why could the lifeguard not save the hippie? He was too far out, man.
What do you call a dog that does magic tricks? A labracadabrador.
What's the difference between in-laws and outlaws? Outlaws are wanted.
What's the difference between a good joke and a bad joke timing?
What happened to the man running in front of the car? He was tired. What happened to the man running behind the car? He was exhausted.
I found a job helping a one-armed typist do capital letters. It's shift work.
What do you call a Frenchman wearing sandals? Philippe Philop.
I once shot an elephant in my pajamas. How it got into my pajamas I'll never know. Tilde Groucho Marx.
The other day, my wife asked me to pass her lipstick but I accidentally passed her a glue stick. She still isn't talking to me.
How do you get 2 whales in a car? Start in England and drive west.
Why aren't koalas actual bears? They don't meet the koalifications.
Q. Why do cows have hooves instead of feet? They lactose.
What time does Sean Connery go to Wimbledon? 10ish.
What do you get when you cross a cow and an octopus? A call from the ethics committee and immediate revocation of your grant funding.
My friend says to me, "What rhymes with orange?" I said, "No, it doesn't."
I couldn't figure out why the baseball kept getting larger. Then it hit me.
What's ET short for? He's only got little legs.
Like most people my age, I'm 22. SBI roll, small world, huh?
When you look really closely, all mirrors look like eyeballs.
People in Dubai don't like the Flintstones. But people in Abu Dhabi do.
I want to die peacefully in my sleep like my grandfather did, not screaming in terror like the passengers in his car.
Have you heard of the soldier who survived pepper spray and mustard gas? He's a seasoned veteran.
I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day. What did the Buddhist monk say to the hot dog vendor? Make me one with everything.
Consider subscribing.